There were some years where the Creek mystique was part of what we talked about with my teams. And most of the time, the success of Cherry Creek High School as a school academically as well as sports is really where that came from. Most people just call me Moos, M-O-O-S. No E, just a Dutch name from way back in the Midwest. I went to school at the University of La Crosse in Wisconsin, and when I went and first started there, Title IX had just happened. So I did not play sports when I was in high school, but I loved sports and I loved watching sports. So when I went to college, it was kind of the first year they had like tryouts for girls' sports, and I was lucky enough to make a volleyball team a couple years and a basketball team a couple years. Played some softball, ran track and field. So that was the first time I was able to kind of be an athlete. I went into physical education and health back then. And so coaching was, part of it, and officiating was part of it. And that was my introduction. So I played a little bit of all those sports and kind of fell in love with volleyball, but loved track and field too. So when I started looking for a job and there were coaching openings, I was looking at trying to be a coach for those two sports. Then was lucky enough to be able to get the job at Cherry Creek High School. I started teaching and coaching lower level volleyball and was the head track coach in 1981-82. So it's a little over 40 years. I'll never forget my first year in '84 coaching. We went 2-8 in the league, 3-11 overall, and my biggest middle hitter had a stress fracture and was out for half of the season. That was my start to head coaching. So it only gets better as you go along. I felt I needed to create a foundation and kids get to buy into it, and they just love playing. And when you get the love of athletes doing what they're doing, success happens. We had a lot of success kind of up and down, and then in the later mid-90s, 97, 98, and actually even before, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, we were either first or second in the state and won a lot of league titles during that time. Then volleyball took off all over the state. Late 90s, early 2000s, then all the clubs started. And once clubs started, kids were able to play it year round, which didn't happen a lot back then. So then there was more, parity throughout different schools. So to win a state championship now is tough because there's a lot of good athletes all around. So the year of 2008, the team went 31-0. And that was one of the best years, and we became state champions that year. Never before had a team at Cherry Creek ever went through an undefeated season, a girls' team, in volleyball. They just did not want to lose, and they had that about them. And when they got behind, they would just fight back. And they believed in one another, and I think that's where the success came from. They worked hard. They really did find success early, and they're like, we're going undefeated. Then we go to play Arapahoe High School, had a really good team. We went to 16-18 in the last game, and we almost lost. And they were like, we're not losing, Moose, we're not losing. But that drove them to be better and to work harder together. And they were just feisty, and they did not want to lose. So it was a magical season, it really, really was. Especially even down at the state tournament, there were close matches. They just wanted to prove that they could do it, and they did. The other special moment, I think, for me was the team in 1999. That was our repeat year from 97, 98, a three-peat year. And we had gone on a summer hike on a trail called the Lost Trail. And we got lost. And it's funny because some of us finished and had to go back and find the other kids, and they had gone past the exit. And so they were like, we're not going on that, Moose. It's the Lost Trail. We're never going on that again. And then when we got to the state championship match that year, We were leading, we were doing great, we were doing well, and all of a sudden we lost momentum and we kind of went downhill and ended up losing that match to the state championship. And the kids were like, Moos, it feels like we were just lost on the lost trail. And so that kind of sticks with me because I know what it's like. You lose that momentum and you can't get it back, and volleyball is all part of that. Well, I was kind of taken back, first of all, when I got the letter, and the next thing I knew, it was on the website, you know, and I'm like, I'm not retired yet. Is this a retirement when I called and talked to you? And I was like, I mean, I love what I do, you know, and this just candles on the cake, I guess, you know. So I appreciate it very much.